Hello, my friendos. Would you like to buy my wares? Just doing a little bit of measuring here as we get started. It's not going to be a real long stream tonight. But I figured, Liam, we'd document the process so that when Liam wants to make his knife sheaths, he can. Got a lot of knives, guys. Everywhere in his house, just knives. Boba's got knives. Mochi's got knives. Everybody got knives. It's true. Boba's got hand knives. It's knives on his hands. Did you see this latest one, Liam? We finished up today. Here's one we finished up today, Mr. Liam. Little cross draw left hand carry. We got his matching little brother over here. Junior Mafia. I got that one, and it's a little bit of basket weave. So that's the two going out. Very soon. Very soon. Alright, so we're going to teach you guys how to make a sheath. Thanks. So I thought we were all caught up today, Mr. Liam. But I went outside to go work out, and there were knives on my porch. As what happens with me. A little cryonite in the handle here. We've got that one, and we've got a Bark River, like Fox River Custom or something. This big papa here. And the old antique ivory micarta. I don't know what he wants for this. Customer might actually be calling tonight. I know he wants a butterfly sheath for this. So we're going to reconnoiter it. Yeah, midday deliveries, Latigo. Just throwing shit on the porch. So, what we have done thus far is we have taken two pieces of graph paper. I actually don't like this graph paper. It's not dense enough, but graph paper. I use 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch squares. Every square is 1/4 of an inch. I fold the sheet of paper in half, and I draw a line down it. Then I take Mr. Kniffy, and I set it on the middle part of the line, and then I carefully roll that over and to the right of my line and trace it out. So what I'm left with, it'll show up on your left side, my right, is the knife in the center line. Okay? Then we take us a hank, a hunk, a chunk, a little bit of leather that is similar to the thickness of the material we're making a sheath out of tonight. Or will be making a sheath out of. So I'm making this out of 8-ounce leather. This is 7.5, so I'm pretty close on this. Let's see what this piece is. This is a big chunk. That's 7 ounce. So we're going to grab this 7.5 ounce, which is going to be close enough. How is your lovely wife, Mr. Liam? How's she do? Are you taking classes this semester, Liam? All right, so what I'm doing here, as I'm going to the palm swell of this knife. If you look at the cross section, you'll notice the palm swell is the widest part of this knife, unless it's at the ricasso here. The widest part of this knife is going to be in this area. I have to make sure that the sheath can hold tightly this area. She's doing good, teaching again tonight. Your wife works way harder than you, Liam. So, I take this piece of leather and I wrap it around to see where it's going to touch. She definitely does. Now, I know the answer to this question, but let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to mark where they touch, and I'm going to mark the spine. Okay? And then I'm going to lay that down where I marked the spine. Okay? I take that one mark on the spine, and then I make a little quick tick mark. This now I have to be at least this wide. All right? Now, some of these knives are chonkers. Big junk in the trunk. So like this, check it out. This just gets fatter and fatter and fatter as you go towards the ass end, towards the pommel. Okay? So I've got to determine how far I'm going to stick this knife in. Hey, Rathu. Which was right here. I wanted about 2 fingers grab on this knife sheath. And you can have one too, let it go. Exclamation point 51 Bravo. My brother will make you one. So I determine how far I want to insert that knife. Then I'm going to wrap it at that area, and I want to make sure that I've got enough width to take this in. So that's exactly what I did when I made this sheath. This is a butterfly style sheath too. This is exactly what we're trying to make today. Okay? Back up my camera a little bit. And so notice I took a straight line up. And that was a straight line up as to how much width I needed. Then I had to curve this down a little because this handle curves. Now, I had to be a little bit more serious with this. See, that curve down here was because I had a much more extreme curve. But if you want to talk about chonk, look at this damn handle. This thing is a cow. Whoever owns this knife better have big hands. So I took that measurement, same thing, and made sure I had enough width. All right, so we've done that now. We know this. Now, the good news is, and I don't know how much you guys can see here, I need to come out wide enough for this finger guard anyway. So I know I'm going to be good to go coming up here. All right, it's a it's a sword. It's a two-handed knife. Two-handed kniffy. So we now have everything traced. We know how wide we need to be. We know what we need to do to make this work. So what we're going to do is we're going to add about a, 1/16 of an inch to this blade. Okay? 1, to make sure we can see the damn thing. But 2, see, I hate this damn pencil. I was using it the other day. V called it out that it was a crappy pencil, and it was. Much better. I'm not going to worry too much about the handle, but I want to make sure I can see the blade. All right? So, on a butterfly knife sheath, we're going to bring this back up just a little bit. I don't have a lot of room I can make on this one a butterfly. It's a drop point, but it's not a very serious, severe drop point. Had it been a real serious drop point, I can get a lot more butterfly out of it. Like, this one was not a very serious drop point, so I can only get so much drop out of it. I maybe could have brought that up a little further. I start running into the welt problem. Matter of fact, look at this one. Yeah, this has no drop point. So, yeah, no drop. So I can't do a butterfly out of that. Yeah, wasn't it? It's nice. Is that working now, Rathu? Yeah, John's a good guy, dude. John's a good guy. He's been through some shit recently. So I'm glad that let me see, let me go over to my channel. See how that's working. Closed captions. Apparently, it says I'm talking. Apparently, it works. I haven't tried putting it on. Okay, it doesn't work for me, but I don't know. Doesn't work for me, but who knows? Who knows? He said it was working for him, so that's all that really matters. Let me put Lockwood on. All right. So, what we need to do when you're doing hand stitching, you can get away with about a 3/8 inch welt. But with a machine like I use, I need a 1/2 inch welt. If this is your first sheath, go a 1/2 inch. So we're going to take that line that we just put in there, and we're going to give a 1/2 inch border to this all the way around. And that's accounting now for our welt. I use these clear rulers. You can get them at any Joann fabric. This is a Dritz little, they're way more expensive than they should be. Like $6 or something. Take a 1/2 inch. Yeah, same. I'm a little worried about it, but the people who are using it, right, same. I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, so that traces around where our welt goes up to here. Now, it's going to go in a straight line from here. Yeah, I know everybody else was saying, yeah, it works for me. I'm like, all right, cool. Now, we've got to account for this finger guard. They are worth every penny. I own like 4 of them. We have to account for this finger guard. It's going to be the widest point of this. Now, you can do a couple things. I'm not going to do it with this finger guard because it's not much of a finger guard. But you could put a manual stop. You could run your welt up to this finger guard and then bump it out so that when you inserted this in, it stopped at this welt. This is sort of a rounded finger guard, so I'm not going to jack with it too much. I'm just going to make sure that I've got enough width for where I'm drawing this bad boy. Now, you notice I'm using a light box. This will make sense in just a few minutes why. Boy, there is not much I can do here for this butterfly sheath. I could tip it just a little bit, but it's going to end up carrying wrong to get more butterfly out of it, but it tain't worth it. It tain't worth it. Man, V was right. That other cheap pencil's a piece of crap. So we're starting to draw in the exterior. Oh, you do like the look? I like it when they bring them way up. I love it when it comes up to like here. I don't know. Just do. Maybe it's just because it's more challenging to make. It's funner. It's more fun to make. It's funner, Liam. Funner, buddy. So it's not going to be a super long stream tonight, but I wanted a short stream to show you guys how I do a pattern. So we're just bringing up that line. Now notice I'm continuing to widen this just a little bit. You don't need to do this, but I have found that that works best. That works best. So I draw this line well beyond where I need it. So this is the exterior of our sheath now. Okay? I'll make sure that I've got a half. I do. Then if I look at that going straight up, I know that I've given myself an additional 1/8 of an inch in opening. All right, so this is roughly the exterior of our sheath on this right-hand side. Now we're making a right-handed sheath, guys. Okay, well, I think he's a right-hander. If not, I can always flip the pattern over. But now we need to determine how much handle do we want coming out of the sheath to grab a hold of. You want a deep pouch sheath if you're going to carry this in the woods. Not pouch, but you want a deep sheath. Or you want some sort of retention so that it doesn't fall out. All right? If you want to just show off the handle, then show more handle. If you want more retention, then you bury it. Okay? I've got this measured out at, boy, not much. About 1 inch. So I'll probably do a little bit more than 1 inch. But 1 inch... Let's go here. Roughly there. That's a pretty deep pouch, though. The end is pointy and sharp. Well, maybe I don't know how sharp this is. Yeah, that's pretty sharp. Pretty stabby, too. It's pretty stabby. So we're roughly there on the opening. Now, I tend to make my openings mirror the angle of the handle, the pommel. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. So I'm roughly drawing that line in. Okay? I can always refine all this later, but this is just allowing me to sketch it all out. Then I'm going to take away my line so I don't confuse myself, because I am easily confused. Take away this line. I'm going to come in 1/2 inch to finish drawing my welt all the way up. That welt's got to match that. So it's going to go there-ish. So that welt's going to look like that on the inside. Then the point of the shaft where it gets a bit brighter before going to darker blue. Not the black line contrast. Is that where that's where I'd place it aesthetically? You'd put it here. Like here-ish. Yeah. Yeah, and that's not dumb. That's a good place to put it. That gives me about 1.5 fingers of grab. The theory here, fiddleback knives are made with this bullseye lanyard tube. So what I like to do is take the distance between the pommel and the start of the lanyard tube and then have that same distance showing. So that when I put it about here-ish, that's what we're going to see. That's how it's going to show. Sort of like it leaves the bullseye centered on what's being exposed. But that's aesthetics, and that's not utilitarianism. This blade type is a drop point. So the blade, instead of going straight out, drops slightly. Drop point blade. All right. So now we turn on the light box. And what we do is we trace around the exterior to mirror what we just drew in on this side. Okay? Bullseye lanyard tube. I was talking about this tube in here. He makes it with not one lanyard tube. He takes a second lanyard tube, and then it has a micarta thing between the other two. And he calls it a bullseye lanyard tube. Right. Yep. That's... I shoot for... So let me show you. Take a look at this one. This one's gives me a finger and a half with a thumb to push on the welt to extract the knife. That's pretty consistent to how I make sheaths. This one's got a little more drop to it, but it gives you that finger and a half pinch. I don't know. That's how I do it. All right, let's turn on the light box. You're not gonna be able to see this very well, but all I'm doing is tracing my line that I just made. So that comes up, and then this comes around. Then we're going to use the ruler to finish this line off. Yeah, so what you can do with that latigo is, if I really want to bury a sheath, I'll bury it and put a small fob on the end of it. This is mostly for decoration, to be honest. But this is a knife I made some years ago. This is a Bark River gunny pattern that I made at Bark River. If I was really going to bury this more, I'd put this lanyard so I could pull it out. It helps when you have gloves on. It also allows you that when some guys make a really long lanyard and they'll wrap it around their wrist so that if you drop it, it hangs from your wrist and you can grab it again. I know some guys will hang theirs from their wrists so that when they're processing a deer, they're process, and they got to work with their hands, and they'll just drop the knife and it swings down and they can work. Now, I find that unsafe personally, but that's what they do, and they've done it for years and they're fine. So a lot of knives have a lanyard tube. And then this one's always hard to see. Yeah, it could. It could. I think you need to know your kit. I think you need to know your kit and what you're capable of. Mine is tucked right on my side, and usually if I got my pack on, my pack's kind of it's just kind of tucked in. All right, so now what we have is this. This is our pattern so far. This is why they call it a butterfly, because it kind of looks, when it's open, it kind of looks like butterfly wings. Okay? Kind of. Now, what we have to do is we're going to make this a pouch sheath. So it's going to have a strap that comes up here that hangs from your belt. So if you look at this design, this is a pouch sheath. And so there's that strap that runs up the back side. Nothing additional is stitched on. That's stronger than if it were stitched on because there's no stitches to fail. Right? So what we want to do is we want to center the belt loop on the handle. On the handle. Okay? So that it hangs straight down. If you get it off center from the handle, okay, it'll cant on you on your belt slightly. So we take the center line of our sheath. This is way overthinking it. I'll tell you this the super secret way in just a second. Literally then, this knife's center line is somewhere around that area. And it doesn't hang straight down because the tip is the furthest point, right? It's kind of like that. So, we're going to use a 1-inch belt loop. This ruler's 1 inch. So where the heck do we put it to make sure it's centered? Here's the rule of thumb. A 1/2 inch over from your center line is a great place to put your belt loop. For most knives. Not all knives. Most knives. But start there. Okay? And you can then start to find what hangs best. After experimentation, I stick almost all of mine right at a 1/2 inch over from our center line. So there's our center line again, 1/2 inch over. Because if I put my fictitious belt loop a 1/2 inch over here, you notice how it runs straight down the center of that blade. That's gonna hang right. Now, if I was trying to make a pouch sheath out of this evil thing, notice the center of the blade runs just like this, but then a lot of weight comes off to the right. So I might want to take that center line and then kick it over just a little bit to make up so that the knife doesn't carry and hang downward incorrectly. Okay? So that's just going to take a little bit of time and experimentation. I don't think it's going to hang all that much. Most people wouldn't even know. But it's a consideration when you're making your own sheath. Okay. So now we have this ugly mess. What the hell are we going to do with it, right? Well, we got our belt loop. We got all these lines. So we're going to get rid of the extra lines. This was just sketching this in real quick. Get rid of this so it's not confusing. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Now, another rule of thumb with leather is never make a sharp corner if you don't have to. Always round the corner. It's going to be stronger. There's no tear point there, okay? So, we've got this coming into the belt loop. And we've got the belt loop coming down. That's a sharp line. One, it's ugly. When you cut this like this, it's going to look ugly as shit if you do it. Okay, so... but two, it's also going to put a ton of undue stress on that area right there. Okay? Now, I know this customer wants a dangler. He wants to hang a dangler from this. So I've got to keep that in consideration and not have this up too high, blah, 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 blah. But don't worry about that for right now. I am going to use a circle template and give myself a radius. Now, one thing to keep into consideration when you're doing this is, can you fit your tools into the area you just created? So when I do my burnishing, I want to make sure that my wheel radius on my burnishing wheel, or whatever tool I'm using for that, is not too large that it can't fit in here. Okay? I want that to be like that, because then I can fit in my hand burnisher. I can fit in, this is over a 1/2 inch. So I can fit in my automatic burnisher in that area. So that's what I'm going to do. And then because I used that on that side, I'm going to use this on this side. You don't have to have a fancy circle jig like this, circle template. You can go get different sized washers at the hardware store. Buy little washers all the way up to big fender washers, one each. You'll probably spend $5 and you'll have every radius you need. Take a nail or a screw and hang them all from that and you'll have every radius you need. Quarters work really well. I like to know the size of my radii though, so that I know what fits my burnishing machine downstairs. We're actually almost done. So what do we got so far? We have the sheath laid out. We've got the belt loop coming up. Now what we don't know is how much belt loop we need. Because this has got to fold over. This has got to come up some. Fold over. Go over here. Leave room for my stitching. And I have a big stitching thing that I use. And still give me 2 inches of belt loop that it fits. Okay? That is pretty much exactly 2 inches of belt loop here. So for me, that works. Is this under 2 inches or over? That's right at 2 inches. It's not quite 2 inches for this one. I left this one a little bit short. This is actually my personal. I don't wear a 2-inch belt. They do make 2-inch belts. I make 1.5 inches, so I would have made this at 1.5 inches. But I don't know what the customer wears. Some customers wear 2-inch belts. So there are times when I need to be careful and either ask. This is also another one of mine. So let's see if I got a 2-inch belt on this one. Belt loop. It's right there. You could fit a 2-inch on it. You can tell these are mine. Because all of them fit 1.5-inch belts. But it's important to know how big your belt is. It depends, Latigo. The question is, should the loop be really close to the belt size? I'll tell you what I do, Latigo. I have a couple of things I do that helps with that answer. Whoa, get back up there. I take just a couple of scrap pieces of leather that are the thickness of most belts. 2-inch and 1.5-inch. And then I fit it through there, right? So remember I said to you I wear an 1.5 inch belt? There's an 1.5 inch belt, and I left about 1/4 inch width. Now, let's pretend this is hanging from our belt, right? We get a little bit of wiggle room with that design. I personally want that, right? Because when I sit down and I bump it on something, I don't want it to just bind on me and jam me in my love handles, you know? I want that to have a little bit of something in it. But for different applications, what you can literally do is make this quite tight and then wet form it to a belt blank. And then it just hangs there. It looks perfect. Remember I said to you I think I could fit a 2-inch on this one? Yeah, I can. So this is a 2-inch belt loop that's quite tight. So that's the right width. That has very little play. So I think what it comes down to you is, Latigo, is how do you want this to carry? Now again, because I'm making this for Joe end user, I'm going to make sure it fits a 2-inch belt. Okay? I'm going to make sure it fits a 2-inch belt. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of fat so that you can... Yes. Right. So then I would tighten it right up. Honestly, Latigo, I would tighten that right up. And I would wet form it to your belt. And then you have a nice tight belt loop that carries your sheath properly. Especially if you're making them for you, dude. That's what I do. It depends on the carry. Let me show you this, Latigo. So this is that cross draw carry. The reality is that whoever's carrying this is going to carry it through here. I don't want to screw this sheath up before I send it out. Where's my other? There it is. Because they can screw it up. They can beat it up, but I don't want to. Let me show you what I'm saying. All right. This holds a 2-inch belt, right? Like this. But notice it's going to carry like that. See that play? Yes, that has some play. Well, isn't that going to move? Notice how it's carried. It's carried like this. It's carried on the belt like that. So that means when you sit down and you bump this, it needs to have some cantilever or you're just going to tear the belt loop off. Yes, that has some more fat in its carry style than what I'm building right now. But it kind of has to have it. It kind of has to have it, or else it tears itself apart just by being on your side, because it's this huge knife being carried cross, nearly horizontally, to the belt. So I build in a lot more of that slop in there, so it can get bumped around and moved around. If it were straight down, that'd be a different story. So. All right, so what that means is we're going to put at least a 2-inch belt on this bad boy. So we need at least that. But remember, it's got to fold over. It's got to fold over. So we go back to our cheater, our little cheater thing here. It's going to fold over. And we got to make sure that we have enough room. So it's going to fold over like this. Right? And then it's got to come down here another inch. What's going on, Jay? For me to sew this on. So I need at least that much. A little more than that. Okay? I need at least that much. Now I'm going to mark what I just put down. I'll bet you money that's 4 inches. Yeah, that's what Jay needs. He needs to be folded over. Not quite 4. 3 3/4. I'm going to make that 4 to give myself a little bit of room. A little bit of extra. To cut that off later if I need to. That you, B? Okay. So that is our sheath in 45 minutes. That's what we've got as our design. Now, we'll end up, pointing this out a little bit when we cut it off, things like that. But what do we do next? We put away our light box. We've got this. I'm going to tape this center area. So that holds. Now I'm going to cut this out. Before I do, let me sharpen my knife here real quick. Because again, this paper is cheap paper. I'm going to strap my X-Acto blade. For this, I'm using an X-Acto number 2. And I'm so cheap that I strop my X-Acto blades. I've got literally like 1,000 blades right behind me to my left, but I'm going to strop that because I'm cheap. Frugal. Damn it, I'm frugal. Now I'm going to carefully cut this out. I happen to know he wants this out of black. Frugal, not fruity. Totally different. Actually, I'm going to change up my plan of attack here in just a second. Make sure this is mirrored properly. Oopsie poopsie. Fix that. Took my line here. So when you're cutting this out, you want to take the line off that you drew. You don't want to leave the line on. If you're going to trace this onto your leather, which most of us are, because then you need to take the line off when you cut the leather out, and that will lead, if you don't, you end up cutting this a little bit fat, then you trace it, and you cut around the line, and you end up growing by, almost an eighth if you're not careful. So cut this tight. Now what my mentor would say to do is to lay this out with a scratch awl on your leather. I'm going on black right now. Oh, we got a raid. Lots of frog butts tonight. Lots of frog butts. See how these people are. Welcome in, Lockwood Leather. My name is Diomedes of Diomedes Industries. Thank you, Foxy. 2 months. Just subscribed. Just... Frog butt. Frog butt. Frog butt. Rue, it's going to be leather very soon. Welcome in, everybody. This is our... Well... Here's the deal, guys. Leather prices have gone up a lot. So we have to make this out of paper now. This is an origami sheath. Okay? Frog butt with a knife. All right. So, welcome in, everybody. My name is Diomedes of Diomedes Industries. Welcome in, Lockwood Leather. I was lurking over there. I'm not going to stream too god-awful much longer because I'm waiting for a call back from the client on this. They mailed me a Fiddleback Forge Hunter knife. So... Oh, Megan, you're back. You're just hanging out with everybody, Mega. It's tree leather. That's right, it's tree leather. I have been. So when you tan your paper, do you dip it in salted butter first? I don't know. Never thought about it. Fiddleback. Yep, Fiddleback Forge. Andy Roy out of Fiddleback Forge makes this knife. So, did you see the final sheaths from this today, Lockwood? Welcome in, everybody. I am Diomedes of Diomedes Industries. I am a leather maker, kinda, today, kinda. We finished up these 2 sheaths today. We've been working on them the last couple of days. So we've got, these are both, okay, cool. Thanks, Lockwood. These are both 51 Bravo knives by my brother. If you do exclamation point 51 Bravo. He made these for a band. He's friends with a group of guys called the War Hippies. The War Hippies. They're touring with Travis Tritt right now. I'm not a big country guy, but he knows these guys, and so he made a couple of knives up for him. He made a drop point with a stag handle, and then a kind of matching one, a clip point. I think bronze bolster. He put their logo on the pommel. Had that etched on here. So we made some sheaths for him. We tried out the antiquing process that I've come up with that I'm pretty happy with. I have no idea the kind of laser that did that. That's my brother's thing. Probably fiber. So we came up with that. It's a cross draw. Carries on the left hand side of your body. Right hand draw. Yes. And then this was its matching one today. We did the crazy legs pattern on that. So, what we've been doing tonight is we designed this sheath tonight. So now we're just cutting it out. Then I'll carry you guys over to the cut table and we'll cut it out of black. And then we'll probably stop because I'm waiting to hear from the client if he wants anything more on it. So we carefully cut that out. Oh, we made hair barrettes today too. Lockwood. We finished up our hair barrettes. Very fancy. Yeah, it's cool, man. We got a raid and run. We made one barrette dragon scales. Oh, they're gonna look fantastic in my hair, Foxy. And we're gonna put some sticks through it. This one's too long, but you get the point. That's gonna look quite nice. We're gonna do a barrette build along in February. After we get done with the journal build along that we're doing right now, we're gonna do barrettes. We're gonna do bracelets. And then this one, Foxy, you'll like this one. Skulls. We got some serious skull action for that one. No, I don't. No, I don't, MCM. No, I do not. At all. Not only do I not, I don't even entertain doing it. Alright, so let's move this over here. Let me get you guys adjusted quite quick. Well, if you're from Lockwood, you're not adjusted. You're maladjusted. Let's make some cut. Let's cut some leather. Darn you, Lockwood! You lied to me! No, I do not make anything of the sort. Yeah, that is a Sergey stamp. Yep. So, both of them were Sergey stamps. We're going to have to design this one out probably tomorrow on stream. We've got a Fiddleback Fox River, I think, special edition in CPM 3V. So, yeah. All right. We got some black leather here. Just sitting around, minding its own business. Now, pro tip. When you are cutting out your sheath, as you look at it, if the belt loop is on the right, okay, lay it face down and you will make a right-handed sheath. Flip it over if you want a left-handed sheath. Don't screw it up or you make left-handed sheaths when you want to make right-handed sheaths. Big Jim Slade. Oh, we almost lost an iron, guys. Whew. All right. We're going to do a real brief cutout, and we'll bring it over to that table and do a better cutout. Oh, I know what we can do tonight. We could do a dangler. Where's my head knife? There. Now I can see what I'm doing. All right, let's cut a dangler out as well. I know we're going to need it. Since I knows we're going to need it. Here's my dangler pattern. So we'll cut that out too. Is it long enough? It is. It's just long enough. It is. Yay for me. Where's my strap cutter? This shop is a mess. Who messed up my shop? Was it me? Tired of reaping the consequences of my actions. Frog butt! Cut, damn you! That cut out. It was Autumn. I knew it. Autumn messing up my shop. She was so ready to go for a walk today. She was out of control. Damn near killed me on the steps. Alright, let's make a dangler. Let's make a dangler. Why do you blame Autumn when there's a perfectly good Dio Mini to blame? I think, unfortunately, it's me. Do you care if the sheath is parallel to the spine of the hide? Oh. No, I don't think it matters. As long as your temper is good, Latigo, I have not found that matters. Now, you should look for fat creases, because when you fold that over, if those fat creases are weird, sometimes it can really cause your fold over to be affected. Okay? Now, if your temper is not good, if you're sort of got some inferior leather, I would run it as parallel to the spine as I can. In most cases. Yes. Yeah, if you'll notice, that whole cut was coming directly off the back of it. Now, I did happen to pull this piece from near where the belly would be, but I pulled it from an arm, which is really high temper anyway, so we're good. What? I'm gonna go out now. Okay. Oh shit, I'm right fucking behind you. My car's right behind you. Can you pull forward and back around it? Don't hit my car. Don't try. Do. So if you're getting freaked out, stop. If you're worried, stop and come get me. Okay. Okay, so we're measuring the center of this. And we've got everything else marked. Yep. We don't have any snow, though, so that's going to be a problem. We're doing English point on this, also known as an egg point. I think it's more of an English point. With pancake style, grain direction matters. Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yep. So, yeah, if you're doing a full pancake, what do you find, Rue? I find when I do pancakes, I run it perpendicular to the spine. For me, it depends on how much tooling I'm doing and how much bend I need out of it. Hey, my son made it around me without running into my car. Oh, I've seen a ton of snow. I'm from Michigan, man. We were born with the snow. Yeah. Arathu's literally snowblind. Cutting out this, or punching these out for... Rue, when you run your pancake sheaths, do you run it perpendicular to the spine or parallel? All right, so there's our dangler. So what we're going to do eventually is we're going to put this removable dangler. You can use a D-ring if you want to. And then wrap this around, wrap that around. Right? Oh, the driver. No, he's not seen a lot of snow before. He's from Texas. And that's going to be our dangler. I don't know if he wants to do tooling on this yet, so I'm going to hold off before I do any more. We'll finish that off hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow stream. Perpendicular. Yeah, same. Okay. All right. So now we need to cut this out. Thanks, Rue. Hey, Dices, what the fuck? I didn't even think that person lived anymore. How you doing, Dices? All right. Any updates, Joe, or same old? I'm using a black pen to mark on black leather. When you trace yours, the best way to trace it is to use an awl. To not trace it with something that leaves ink. So to use an awl, scratch awl, and you can poke holes in it and connect those dots with your knife. Now, on my Discord, I've got links to the fabric pens that I'm getting in. Those make silver marks, and they are erasable. Okay. I'm betting Saturday, too. Good. Thanks for the update, Joe. How's Scroll Keeper doing, Joe? I checked up on him the other day and just said hello. But he wasn't too talkative, or just wasn't at the time, which is no big deal. Damn it. The goal is to make sure that doesn't move. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's why I wasn't bugging him. I wanted to check in and tell him that I was out here, but not bug the fuck out of him. Yep. I found them even cheaper on Amazon too, Rue. So that's what I linked in mine and my affiliate links. So we're just going to carefully carry this around. Now, reverse the pattern. Yeah. Yep. Reverse the pattern, flip it over, draw it on the flesh side, and then you can't screw that up. Yep. This works for me, so that's what I'm doing. Your mileage may vary. I just get confused. As soon as I flip it over, I want the belt loop to be on the right-hand side, so I'll make a left-handed sheath in a freaking heartbeat if you leave me to my own devices. Well, Raiders, those of you that came in from Lockwood, please give me a follow if you don't mind. I stream 2-3 times a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays in the morning-ish, 10, 11 o'clock. And then other times. Tomorrow will be about 3 or 4 o'clock I'll stream. I've got to bring my son in for a doctor's appointment. Right. Yes. Yeah, I have red pen as well that I use quite a bit. Red fine point gel pen. Okay. Pro tip. We're going to cut this. And I remember I told you before, don't terminate with a square point if you don't have to. Okay? So, when we're going to cut up to this point, we're going to punch this tip out with an 1/8 inch crew punch. And that helps it not tear beyond that point. Actually wasn't an 1/8 inch, it was 3/32. Dear God. We were 30-second off, guys. All right. Let's cut some leather. This is my design. This is my head knife design that I've been using for years now. You can see how much I've used it. The spine of this is just black from oxidization. But that just means I use it. So now we're going to take this line when we make this cut. Okay? This is the reason why I like using a head knife. Because I can see what I'm cutting into. Now, this is some pretty heavy temper shit. Now I'm going really carefully on this right-hand side because I want to preserve this. I'm going to use this extra stuff. That's why I left so much extra. I'm going to use this extra as my welt because it already has cut out a basic welt design on the side that I need it on. So I'm going to cheat this. I'm going to connect these dots with my craft blade. And I won't do that for the rest of this cut. This just allows me to maximize leather and use something that's already the right shape for my welt. I'm hopeful that the guy who wants me to make this sheath wants me to line it because I think it will look better lined, but it's more expensive, so he may not. Now, he bought an expensive-ass knife. That was a $500 knife almost. So hopefully he makes the decision to go with, $125 sheath. That's what I do. Well, okay, I just make my own. So. All right, so that's going to be our welt, roughly. So we set that aside. That gets set aside. $500 sheath. That's what we need, is a $500 sheath. Come on, zoom. Much better. Well, that guy I did the other day, I think I did a $125 sheath for a $50 knife. Whatever. Make it gold plated. This normally doesn't take me this long to cut things out. That's right. Expense it. Speaking of, I need to hear back from my CPA, on whether I should pay my fourth quarter taxes. Given how much I had in expenses in the fourth quarter, I don't think I need to make my fourth quarter tax payment. But so I sent him my information and said, hey, what you think? See what he's got to say back. I don't like letting the government borrow my money for free if I don't have to. A lot of people love getting a tax return. I think tax returns are a waste of money. But I also know some people just use it as forced spending. Or as forced savings, I mean. I get that. This stuff is such high temper. You can hear it. You can hear how hard it is. This is coming right from the butt of the animal. Yep. It's good, though. It's good for this, because it's not old leather. This is, straight from the tannery. This was tanned probably a month and a half ago. I know it does. So it's not old leather. It's just tough temper leather. And this knife is pretty slick. Yes. So I'd rather overpay slightly. What I try to shoot for is within $100 back at the end of the year. No, but when the government borrows your money, they pay you no interest. When you borrow the government's money, you pay penalty and interest. Funny how that works. This is a place where you want to take your time. Screwing up that connection means a lot of finishing up. Now, what I was just about to do my little spidey senses started tingling. Here's why. That leather is really tough, and I'm pulling towards it. If I slip, it's going to cut off my belt loop. So I'm going to go to a different knife point and make that corner a little cleaner, go a little slower so that I don't fuck that up. It's just a pain in the ass to get all the way to the end, then hack off your damn belt loop. So remember, this is what we were starting with, right? And that's what we ended up with. So we're pretty good. We're within a 16th of this, and some of that's going to come off as I sand down the edges and things like that. So we're in good shape. We're in pretty good shape. So I'm going to set up the belt tip, and then I'm going to be done for the night. I wanted to keep this tutorial around an hour, just so that people could see what they're going to do. I'm going to save it down and publish it on my YouTube. Let me show you guys how this works. So I'm setting in the... Remember I told you guys there's a 1/2 inch welt. Hello, YouTube. 1/2 inch welt. So I made sure that I had at least a 1/2 inch of welt to go around that line. So we've got that. So now what we should be able to see is that this knife sheath should fit in there like it was laid out on our piece of paper. And it does. Now what you can do is see if it fits, roughly. Now remember, we haven't put the welt in, so it might be a little tight, and we kind of want it to be. But this should wrap around and get pretty darn close. And it do. So we're in good shape. We're in good shape for making this particular sheath. Now, when we finish this off, we're going to draw some V lines up to here so this corner will bend a little easier. But I don't know if the customer wants to line it. So we're going to wait on that. We set our knife aside. Our knife doesn't need to be touched until we finish this sheath. We know it basically fits now. We laid it out that way. We know it's going to fit that way. Okay, so let's get out. Make our little line here. And we're going to make this egg point. That's on the bomb, yo. Now, we're going to be pretty darn close to having a correct length on our belt loop. Remember, we want to make sure that it was going to hold a 2-inch belt. I have roughly an inch stitch at the bottom. You don't have to. I have roughly an inch stitch at the bottom. So this should be 3 inches long. And it's just a little longer than 3 inches. So I find that 4-inch line is pretty good for how I do things. But that teaches you tonight in an hour and 15 minutes with talking and all that stuff, how to go from knife to almost drop the knife. How to go from knife to pattern to leather in a way that will make you a sheath so that you don't screw it up. So I hope you guys learned something tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got something going tomorrow night where I need to be on stream. But I will publish this VOD. I will set this VOD to be published. And then I'll put it on my YouTube. And I'll put a link on it in my Discord. So if you want to check that out, please do so in the Discord. Sure, Mega. No worries. You also see my website, www.diamedesindustries.com, if you want to check out anything there. Let's see who we want to raid. Is there anybody even on? Little Bones is. Oh, old drum is. Oh, wait. Black Ram Leather? Who the hell is this? They got 4 people, so we're raiding them. I don't know who this is. I must have randomly followed them when they came in a chat. So, hell yeah, we're going to go over there. Get over there, say hello. Give them all the love in the world. I will see you guys tomorrow. I love all of your faces. Be very good to each other. Peace.
Expand your adventure today.
When Doug and Andre came to TurboTax,
We navigated a turbulent housing market by
Buying a motorhome.
I made their move count. We've guaranteed 100% accurate taxes for millions of new homeowners. Intuit TurboTax.
Hey, dear. Not sure you guys are be stuck in ads or not. What? Why is it freaking deleting stuff? I shouldn't have blocked that. That's stupid. I'm gonna have to fix my stupid auto mod crap. I'm gonna have to go and fix that. It's I don't know, this is probably only my 4th or 5th stream since going back from like a year break. So I've been having to go back and delete all my old crap and try to start fresh, and some of the stuff I haven't got to yet as far as setting it up completely. Finish transferring these couple lines and then I'll